What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast. Now, I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about Persona 5 Royal. The review scores are out, so I want to talk about kind of what people are saying, give my overall impressions. This game is coming out very, very soon and kind of coming under the radar. I feel like when people think of March, I guess if you're not maybe into Persona 5, maybe that's something that you have to consider. But I think when you think of March in general, you've been thinking of Neo, you've been thinking of Animal Crossing, you've been thinking of Doom. But you know what? Don't underestimate Persona 5 Royal, truly. And I think that as the days go on, again, especially if you're a Persona fan, this is a game that you need to be paying attention to. Although, again, with a game like this, it's tough because even you see in a lot of people talking about this game, a lot of the review scores is, with these kind of games, is it warranted buying it? Basically, again, because you can add as much as you can add as much to it as you want. And truly, though, in this game, they are adding quite a bit. They're adding a new character. They're adding an entire new semester. They're adding new areas. They're adding new, and I mean, there's so many gameplay additions or so many gameplay changes, and really making everything for the better. So yes, you can add all that kind of stuff, and that is obviously, I would imagine, and also the graphical enhancements and stuff. There are plenty of reasons to get this game, especially if you do not have the first game. But is this game even worth it if you have Persona 5? It seems like it absolutely is. In fact, I've seen several reviews literally say, is this game warranted buying if you already have Persona 5? Yes, it absolutely is. And that's awesome. Even for me personally, I'm a very late adopter into Persona, but I jumped in, I honestly believe, like a lot of people did, in Persona 4 Golden. I played this game on the Vita. I absolutely loved it. Now, I didn't play much of it. I'm not gonna fool you guys, and I'll go into the rest of my Persona history after. I'm not gonna fool you guys. I did not play this game much. It was during the time where I just do not beat games, and only recently, ever since 2020 has started, have I actually been trying to beat games. But I played a little bit of Persona 4 Golden. I loved it. I got Persona 5 day one. Tried to support it as much as I could. Played it a little bit. Played it more than I played Persona 4 Golden. But then I stopped, and it's a travesty. It honestly is. It's something that I really wish I want to go back, and I think one day I will. Just the fact that it's over 100 hours is a really big issue for me. But honestly, for me, it makes a lot of sense to rebuy it and buy Royal, to be quite honest, because it is that kind of game, just like Golden was. I feel like Royal, to be quite honest with you, is a game that is going to attract possibly more people than actually bought the first Persona, the base game. So Persona 5. No, Persona 5 did insanely well. It was the highest selling Persona game of all time. It was a record success. So it's going to be interesting to see, in my opinion, what Persona 5 Royal actually does. I feel like it's going to be, especially in the time that we're at, March 31st, at this point, even the time we're recording this, even the time we're talking about this, everybody's at home, and I think it's probably only going to get worse over the next couple of weeks before it gets better. So it could come out smack dab in the, in the area where people are just going to be stuck at home doing nothing. So I honestly feel like all of these games, Doom, Animal Crossing, Ori, Neo 2, MLB The Show. I mean, there's a lot of games, and honestly, every single one of these games seems to be getting review scores of like 90 or higher. Now, Persona 5 Royal is getting like 95, 96. I think on Metacritic right now, it's on 96. I mean, Persona 5 is one of the best JRPGs ever, and it doesn't even take me. I guess my own personal opinion is I absolutely adored the game, and from what I've played of it versus what I've played of other games in the same genre. Now, again, some of them I've played longer than others. Some of them I barely play at all. I honestly feel like I enjoyed Persona 5 the most. It was just the barrier of playing it for 100 hours or, a trillion in my mind. It feels like a trillion. That kind of scares me off. And again, that was in the time that I wasn't really playing games. I feel like if I were to jump back in now, I really dedicate my life, my entire well-being to beat this game. I feel like I'm going to think it's the greatest JRPG of all time, which again, when Persona 5 came out, a lot of people were saying that. So Royal is looking great. It's getting the same review scores that Persona 5 got because it's basically the same game. Everybody loved Persona 5, so you're going to love this just in its base. And again, if you don't have Persona 5, or even if you do, all of the new additions seem to be awesome. A thing to note is it's not hurting the game. I've seen nowhere in it that these additions are hurting the game, because that could happen, right? Is that, okay, the base game is amazing, but now you add all these things, and does that overall hurt it? I think you would see that reflect in what people are saying in the game, and nobody's saying that. In fact, again, they're saying the opposite, and the biggest kind of talking point to kind of calm people in regards to that is, again, when you hear people say, hey, even if you got Persona 5, it's worth getting this game. And why is it worth that? Because these additions, these changes, graphical upgrades, stuff like that, but also literally just what they've added to the game. You know what? That in itself is worth it to not just rebuy it, but replay it if you've already played it the first time back a few years ago. That's outstanding. That's something that very few games, honestly. Well, we just see a game like Catherine do it back in September of 2019. It came out in Japan earlier, obviously, but that was a game very solid. I think it was honestly kind of the same thing as Persona, just like a bar lower, right? It's like a 7, it's like an 8. It's a good game. It's not an amazing game, whereas Persona, you would say is like a 9 or a 10. It's almost a masterpiece. And then, you have Catherine Full Body, which adds in a whole bunch of stuff where if you played the base game, which I did, and then you play Catherine Full Body, it's still worth doing it because you have all these extra additions. And again, it only enhances the game, and it made it better. It honestly did. Now, again, I think it's one tier below Persona, but it's the same kind of deal. So very, very exciting. I'll be flat out honest with you. As of right now, I'm not planning on getting this game. It is something that I think I would consider going into the summer, going into the fall, if there's sales, especially maybe if next gen gets pushed and there's just not as much to play. This is a game I would consider. It's difficult because I literally can stare right now at my Persona 5 game. I have it on disc, and it's like right there, and if I go back and play it, I'm going to restart it, and it's like, well, I've literally barely even touched that game. Do I really want to buy the full $60 again? So now I've spent $120 or $130 with taxes on both. I've spent $130 on 2 games, one of which I will never play. The other one is the same thing, but again, all the upgrades and the additions, and I'll play that one. I don't really know if that's a smart, just financial move on my part, so I don't know if I'll be doing that. But hey, let me tell you this. If you guys have made it this far, firstly, thank you very much. I appreciate it. But secondly, if you did not play Persona 5, and you were told with Persona 4, you were told with Persona 4 Golden, you were told with Persona 5, get this game because these games are absolutely amazing, and you still didn't do it, this is the time. This is the time because it's the same masterpiece Jrpg that Persona 5 was, but even better. So really, there's no excuses anymore. The only excuse is if you don't have money because you're at home and maybe you don't have, or if you're a teenager or whatever, you're out of school or you're in school, but you don't have an income, whatever, or you're it's rough times with your job, you don't have the money. Those are the only excuses. But definitely time barrier. There is no time barrier issue with playing this game because people could be stuck at home for weeks or months. And if you're going to do that, what better way to spend it than playing a 100 plus 125 hour Jrpg like Persona 5? There's really nothing better you could be doing. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Are you going to be getting Persona 5 Royal? Did you get Persona 5 in the first place? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel podcast now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. As I say at the end of all these videos, stay safe. Take it one day at a time. We're all in this fight together. We're all here for each other. If you guys need to talk about anything, either on YouTube or on Twitter, or on Discord, we're everywhere. You can talk to me. You can talk to the community. Anybody you want to talk to, or if you want to talk about something, definitely let us know, okay? We're all in this fight together. We will get through it. The world will go back to being really, really good, even better than it was before, okay? Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.